After the conclusion of the Panthers and the Giants game, Brian Dable was asked if Daniel Jones was going to be the starter moving forward, and he had this to say: "We're going to spend a lot of time watching tape and evaluating. We're evaluating our team at the bye week." Now, Daniel Jones is definitely going to be a big element to that evaluation, and I really think he could be alluding to the point of Danny Dimes potentially taking a seat on the bench. Now, I have a question for everyone out there. Would you bench Daniel Jones at this point, or would you just play him because who really cares? The season's over. It doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments. I think it's a really obvious answer to bench Daniel Jones, but the thing is, it's not just the players that are going to be evaluated for the remainder of the year. Brian Dable is going to be under a microscope if he hasn't been already. I think he's really playing and coaching for his job for the remainder of the year. If they really just continue to free fall, he's got to go. You got to can him. You got to fire him. So I feel like that could be a reason why he might keep Daniel Jones in there, just because it's risky to put in Diveto or Drew Lock. But then again, the logic doesn't really make sense because Daniel Jones is brutal regardless. You might as well just roll the dice and see what Diveto or Drew Lock have, but we'll see shortly. Just as a fan, I would rather see Diveto or Drew Lock out there. I'm done with Daniel Jones. I don't really want to see him start for another team ever again in the NFL. I just think he's a career backup, man. I think that's what he is, and I think that's what he always was. So we'll see going forward. They definitely have to move off. They definitely have to move off of him this upcoming year, and I'm assuming they're going to draft a quarterback. They should. They drafted Malik as their top pick a year ago. Now it's time to find that quarterback to really hopefully have a better connection with him going forward. But we'll see, man. Lots of good quarterbacks for the Giants, so I feel like there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I just don't know if Brian Dable is the guy, and I don't know about the GM either. Conversations for another day. Right now, let's just focus on the season. The GM was also recently interviewed, and he has apparently no regrets how he handled the quarterback market in this past free agency. There was a report early on that Russell Wilson was interested in joining the Giants, and I don't know if that would have worked, but I know for a fact that Russell Wilson, even right now, is a lot better than Daniel Jones. And, the Giants' offense is pretty competent. They have receivers. Tracy has emerged as a solid back. That's why I want to see DeVito or Drew Lock get in there and just see what they could do, because I feel like they could cook something up. Anything better than Daniel Jones, man. Just please, for the sake of all NFL fans out there, just bench him, please. I'm begging you. So the next opponent for the Giants is the Bucs at home, coming out of their bye week. Daniel Jones might be playing for his career in that game. I really hope he doesn't suit up, but we'll see, man. Tough game. Then they're at the Cowboys, Thanksgiving. Both teams in free fall mode. It would be hilarious if the Giants won that game and he put on a show with everyone watching him. And then in the month of December, the Giants play the Saints at home, the Ravens at home, Falcons on the road, Colts at home, and then they finish off the year in Philly. Not a crazy hard schedule there, but, the season's done. Like I said, Dable is coaching for his job with the Giants, and we'll see how it all plays out. But if he goes and loses almost every game down the stretch, hopefully he'll get fired immediately once the season concludes. Then the Giants fans can quickly stay up all night looking at potential mock drafts and pray that the GM Joe or some other guy that they hire don't screw it up like they did with Daniel Jones. I remember even when they drafted Daniel Jones, That was kind of a controversial draft pick, along with Dwayne Haskins back in the day. So hopefully they'll make a safe bet and draft a solid guy. I totally expect them to have a top 5 pick. I really don't see why they wouldn't. But we'll save that for another day. And speaking of the Giants' kind of terrible season, it just kind of makes me think of the NFC East as a whole. The Cowboys and the Giants are really the basement of that division, and I feel like they could potentially be there for a long, long time, man. Especially with Jaden Daniels emerging. Who knows? This might be a brand new era, new ownership in Washington, new amazing MVP caliber QB in Washington. They might be up there for a long, long time, man. And for the longest time, the NFC East, there would be a new first place team every single year. It would essentially rotate. But I know it might be a bit premature to look at like the next 5 years for those 4 teams, but it's really looking like it's going to be the Commanders and the Eagles up there at 1 or 2. The Cowboys and the Giants owners are a big issue, and the Cowboys are just going in circles. They're spinning in circles, and the Giants have a lot of issues. They could potentially turn it around if they hit on their quarterback and they hit on their next head coaching hire, but those are kind of hard things to do. But it's just really a new era and a new age for the NFC East. I would really go out on a limb and say that the Commanders are going to run the NFC East for a long time, or at least for the next 3-4 years. It's just, if the Eagles actually get a good head coach and they get rid of Nick Sirianni, I feel like the Eagles can be up there at the NFC East for consecutive years. Good for them for having a pretty good year so far, but if you really look at their schedule, it's been extremely, extremely light. And I feel like Sirianni at this point has proven he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he's really just completely underqualified to be coaching that team, and just a hard guy to root for. For a head coach to be acting like a complete buffoon on the sidelines almost at any given moment, it's just... like, how can you root for a guy like that? I just don't get it. I feel like a head coach should have a certain level of class and stoicism. You know, bring back the Tom Landry days. Bring back the head coaches in suits days. You know. So for Sirianni to be talking crap to his own fans when they're up barely, beating the Saints at home, it's just embarrassing clown behavior, but that's just me. So I have a question for all of you guys. If you were in charge, if you were the owner of a team and you got to pick for the next 5 years, what team would you rather own, the Cowboys or the Giants? You let me know in the comments below, because I feel like they're really two evenly matched franchises right now that are just in the gutter, and I feel like it's a good question. And I know the Cowboys have Dak and Zeke, but Dak is unreliable, and the Giants are going to have a top 5 draft pick. So it's really a good question in my opinion. Personally, I would rather pick the Giants just because, like, I don't trust anybody on the Cowboys at all. I don't trust Jerry. I don't trust their decision making. I don't trust the Jones family. I don't trust Dak. And who knows? Maybe the Giants will get lucky and hit on the quarterback, hit on the head coach. But you let me know in the comments below. And who do you think is going to run the NFC East for the next 5 years? The Eagles or the Commanders? Or are they going to split it? I feel like if the Eagles somehow get a new head coach that's actually qualified, I feel like the Eagles will probably run it for quite some time. But until then, I feel like it's going to be a coin flip every year between those two teams, with, I feel like, the Commanders getting the best of them. But we'll have to see. If you made this far, please subscribe. Help out your boy a ton. And that's all I got for right now. Peace.